Welcome to another edition of Soul on Soul with Phinesse. I'm your host, Phinesse Demps. It's always a pleasure to be with you to bring you the best in independent artist music, artists that you should be checking out or be on the watch for because they're making moves. Just because you don't see a major label behind them doesn't mean they're not doing major things. And today's artist is no different. She is everything. She's a soul package. She's a songstress, a songwriter, producer, performing artist, actress, activist. She's got her hands into everything as it should be. My special guest today is also tearing up the charts with her song Comfort Zone. So we're going to talk to her about her music and everything else that she does. Ladies and gentlemen, Soul on Soul with Phinesse. We're keeping your soul connected, and our soul connection for this weekend is Karen Bernod. Miss Karen, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I gave you that introduction. Is there anything that I left off?
No, I think you covered the gamut. Thank you.
So tell us, how did you get involved? When did you know that music was going to be your thing?
Well, actually, when I was 7 years old, I performed in well, I guess you could say it was a contest at my elementary school, and I sang "Love on a Two-Way Street" by the Moments. Well, Ray Goodman and Brown after that, but yeah, I sang that at 7. I didn't even know what "Love on a Two-Way Street" meant, but that was one of my favorite songs, and I sang it, and I won. And I saw the pomp and circumstance with the audience and how everybody responded to me, and I knew at that moment that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
And so your musical journey started then. How has your musical journey been so far?
Awesome and blessed filled. I've gotten a chance to travel the world, record with many of my favorite icons, go on the road and tour with them, on their recordings, in their videos, hobnobbing with their friends, and it's been awesome.
Okay. Since you've had the chance to travel the world, you stepped outside the United States, and music is listened to and appreciated differently in other countries. In your opinion,
Yeah, yeah,
what
I
is the
agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
what is your opinion of soul music? What is soul music to you?
Well, soul music is pretty self-explanatory. It's music that comes from the soul, is played with soul. Um, Artists that I have to say, live musicians um, who are creating soulful music. It's music that speaks of the culture, of the origin of where we're from, all of the things that have to do with that. And just basically music that, like I said, comes from the soul. And it's around the mixed in with the R&B genre.
Mhm. I put in there, and you started to comment about music being listened to, appreciated differently in other facets of the world. Can you talk about that for those who may not have that experience?
What do you mean, how it's accepted in other countries?
Yes.
Well, yeah, America's music America's music is awesome. But if you're not in a certain box or compartment, then America tends to you're not the mainstream of music. Whereas other countries are really into authentic, organic music, meaning soul, jazz, real R&B without the auto tunes. Sorry, sorry, not sorry, but music that music that has a meaning and a purpose, and not slighting any other music, but just other countries just really appreciate the, if you will, the soul in the music. They really like R&B, soul, and even some of the hip hop that we have here in America, if it has just a certain thing about it, it's appreciated. Whereas over here in America, it may not be a big hit, and we may not even know of the song. But in other countries, you can count on them. They know everything over there
Mm.
across the
And
pond.
and with your experience in that, how did you keep yourself, from being boxed in so that you became what America wants you to be, but you were able to be who you wanted to be and work with who you wanted to work with? How did you make that happen?
Um, excuse me. Actually, those who I've worked with have been blessings from like my first gig and them liking what they heard, and my name getting around and them passing my name around and then other people inquiring about hiring me. But I've been blessed to like actually sing with a lot, like I said, a lot of my icons, a lot of the people that I admire. But I'm considered to be a quote unquote neo soul artist, but neo is like a prefix for new, and there's nothing new about my soul, so I don't really subscribe to all of that. But um, since I sang with Erica and D'Angelo, that era of neo soul music, then when I came out with my stuff, I kind of got kind of uh, not boxed, but considered that type of music as well, which is cool. If whether you love me or you don't, if that's what you feel you get from me, a neo soul, then I think that's just like a title though. But I'm not in this business to get a Grammy, although if I got one would be lovely. I'm not in this music to be quote unquote rich per se. I'm really into it because I love what I do. I love the fact that God gave me a gift to be a messenger through song. I love that I have a fan base. I love that I can write about authenticities, about life, about whatever. I'm not kind of like pigeonholed like the record companies used to make us pigeonholed into one particular compartment, mental, musical thing, and then try to sell that to the audiences when the audiences are really, they know they're not stupid. So they know if what you're doing is real, if it's really you, if it's what you really feel. And I've just chosen to do music that really speaks to who I am as a person, not trying to be like nobody else, not trying to sound like anyone else, not trying to sing like anyone else. Just be authentically Karen Bernard. And I've been blessed to be able to do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Miss Karen Bernod, soulfully independent music artist, doing some great things, not only in front of the mic, but in the community as well. We'll get into all that a little bit later on in the show. I'm going to take our first break, but before I go into a break, Miss Karen, what I always do, I like to give the artist the opportunity to share their social media and website if they have one, so that they can gain new followers, new listeners, and a new audience. Would you like to share your social media and website, please?
I most certainly will. Well, my social media and my website are the same. It's my name is Karen Bernod, so that's Karen as in Nancy, B as in boy, ERN as in Nancy, OD as in David. So that's Karen Bernod. That's KarenBernod.com. That's Karen Bernod on Instagram. That's Karen Bernod on Facebook. That's Karen Bernod on, if you Google me, things will come up on my YouTube. My website is KarenBernod.com. So I made it kind of simple, and there you have it.
All
Oh,
right.
well, I'm also sorry. I'm also well, you didn't ask me this, but I'm also on like Spotify. I'm on Tidal. I'm on Pandora. I'm on Apple Music, and you can find my music there as well.
Oh, no, I'm glad you did share, and I'm so glad you mentioned Title. As I tell the audience each week, Title pays the music artist the most, and it was started by a brother. So I always like to shout out Title on one of the streaming platforms. I always go listen to new artists on that. So make sure you go
Yeah.
support Miss Karen Bernod. Bernard. When we come back, I want to talk to Karen a little bit more about some Neosoul and one of the campaigns I believe she took a part in. So come on back, Soul on Soul with Phinesse, Karen Bernod. That's Bernard. That is my special guest. I want to say Bernard, but that's my dad's name. I shouldn't have
No,
told the
you can say
audience that.
Nard too.
Okay,
Sorry, you
so
can say
she's
that.
gonna let
You
me
can say
say it.
that.
Now I want the audience to look up my dad's name, then they were trying to find me. But anyway, we'll be back. Soul on Soul with Phinesse. We'll be right back. All right, that was the first segment. I forgot to say I record in segments and then we edit up later on and we put your music in
Oh,
between it
oh,
in the
sorry.
segments. So no, that's no
Okay.
problem. That's my fault. So that was the first segment, and we got 3 more to record. We got two 4 to 5 minute segments, and then the last segment, it'll be a closing segment, which will be anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. So here we go. Second segment coming down in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back. Soul on Soul with Phinesse, chilling with the homegirl, Karen Bernod. I can say that. She told me I could say that, or Bernard, as is written out for you folks as you find it. So don't call me and say I can't read. I can read, but you always have to guess how they pronounce their name. Anyway, for you, those of you who don't know Miss Karen, make sure you find her on YouTube. Hear some of her great music, see some of her shows that she's been a part of. But there's something else about Karen that I found out, and I want to talk to her about it. Karen, you took part in something called National Crown Day. Can you explain this to the listening audience and what that was about?
Yeah. National Crown Day, which was July 3rd, is basically the Crown Act was passed in Congress, where meaning that we are not penalized, judged, or not hired because how we wear our hair and how we coif our hair, be it braids, locks, afro, whatever, however we want to wear it, wrapped up in a turban, whatever we do to celebrate who we are as a people, as every other nationality is allowed to do and does. The Crown Act was passed, so July 3rd was the celebration of that triumph, I would say. And I participated in that, ever since the Crown Act was passed, which is a good thing because in the past, when I had 9 to 5s, I've been, I wasn't hired it was a temp agency that I was working with, and my hair was in braids, but it looked beautiful as usual, as we do, as we rep. And the white folk in the company, the boss told my boss at the time that if I came back to work the next day, I would have to change my hair. So I was like, change it how? You mean put it up in another style? So they were like, no, you got to take your braids out. I said, okay, well, then you need to call my agency because I'm not coming back and I'm not taking out my braids, and I can't tell you some other choice words that I chose to tell them, but they were pretty
Because as we
colorful.
do.
They were pretty colorful before I walked and they saw my back walking out the door. But yeah, so I know my agency called me and it was a white woman. She was younger and she was nice and all, but she was like, well, Miss Karen, you can really be marketable if you just, what? Just what? Take my hair out? Would you take your hair out? And we got into this whole conversation about it. And of course, it made her uncomfortable. But I was like, that was like in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'm lying. That was in the 80s because I was totally into music. I had totally left the 9 to 5 world and totally did my music by the 90s. But it was like the late 80s and early 80s, I'm sorry. And it was hurtful. But, one monkey don't stop no show. So, of course, I got another job with my braids and my hair because I wasn't taking them out. But that's been a long time coming, that Crown Act. And so many of us have been ridiculed. And, they don't understand. Well, they envy us, too. So it's like you're not allowed to come into work looking that beautiful. So you got to take your braids out. I can't do it. My hair won't cooperate. I can't do it. You can't do it. So. But yeah, so that's what that was all about, the Crown Act.
And did you also take part in a Dove campaign as well?
Well, Dove has been doing, showing um, authentically uh, real people as they look in the world today. And Dove has been doing that campaign, I think, for like now, I want to say like maybe like 6 to 10 years, maybe. I'm not sure, maybe, I think. But yeah, so we participate in that as well. I'm for anything about the authenticity and the truth about my people. And we're such a beautiful people. It just makes me mad when, you know, uh, the, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, people in
Mainstream?
society that don't, well, yeah, for lack of a better word, yeah, I'd say mainstream. The mainstream, want us to basically do what they want us to do and look the way they want us to look because they either feel threatened or, which is BS too. But I'm just saying, like anything that supports my people for who they are, authentic, authentic, auth- authentically, excuse me, beautiful, and you know represent who we are as a people and not succumb to what other people want us to look like. I'm for anything having to do with that, uplifting my people, supporting my people, getting us to the next step in life or in the generations to come and all that good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Talking to Miss Karen Bernod, soulfully independent music artist, activist, I would say, all of that, and doing some great things for the music world. Karen, you touched on this. Funny because I was having this I got brought into a conversation about the start of Neosoul, and it's funny how when mainstream picks up on new music or new terminology that we bring about, they determine who is the so-called soul start of it and what music should be determined by it. And the conversation was about Neosoul, and they said basically that D'Angelo was the start of Neosoul, and I correctly corrected them, and I stated no, he was popular, but he wasn't the start because there were so many other artists. And as you said, you were part of that movement, even though you're not really neo soul, because like you said, neo means new. Just part of the soul was finally soul music was coming back to its basic roots. But when you hear
Right.
stuff like that coming from mainstream, and as a music artist that sits in that lane of soul music, what would you say to the folks when they that may prescribe to listen to that and have that be their Bible as to what is the start of or what is soul or neo soul music?
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't really subscribe to the label, but I understand it. Well, another thing too, our music it always has to be labeled. They don't do that with country western. They don't do it with rock. They don't do it with alternative. They only do it
Mm-hmm.
with our music. Now, what that does tell me about our music is multifaceted. However, this well, now it's different. I mean, when there wasn't internet and social media, things were totally different. I think it's really a new world now, 360 degrees. But still, our music always has to be labeled and put in some kind of box to to me stagnate the artist into not wanting to branch out to do other things. And most artists, and when I say artists, I mean those who are out here, who've been out here and have, the hustle is real for them. Most of them, um, they really, the hustle is real for them. So it's like they don't really subscribe. I mean, what I'm trying to say basically, because I'm fumbling over my words, what I'm trying to say is that most artists want to do other things. They may come out with a certain style or genre, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
the public wants them to stay that way because that's what they're used to. But when the record companies were popular, they're not so much now because we cut out the middleman, thanks to Prince. But it's they want to do other things, but sometimes scared to branch out and do other things because thinking they're not going to be accepted. What the social media, well, I should say, what the internet has allowed us to do is be the middleman, cut out the middleman, be able to do our own, without depending on the quote unquote record companies at the time, and you know, garnering our own connections and getting money from different sources on our own. However, the caveat of that is like, some things you may not uh, uh, like the record company affords you to be able to be branched out all over the world, this and that and the other. Now on the internet, within a nanosecond, if you get into the right situation, you're able to do that on your own. So, I just think it's apropos for artists to feel comfortable, with where they are. If they come out with soul and the next thing they want to do is country western or whatever, they should be able to do whatever they want to do without being stagnated. I actually heard that Monica was coming out with a country western album, and I'm looking forward to hearing that.
It's funny because there was a whole nother conversation. I always get brought into these conversations, of course, because I'm around music. But and I interviewed a Black country artist on the show. It was a great interview. And I remember Monica said she was gonna come out. And I was like, I think that's great because there's
I
a
love it.
difference in Black country soul. There's a difference in that, in hearing the music. I got offended when some of the folks at the Country Music Awards was mad because we were
Yeah,
presenting. So
but
it's very
that's racist. It's racism. That's systemic racism. That's all it is. Look, check it. Check this out. If you listen to country music and you listen to the chords, the structure, the lyrical content, and then go listen to some down home gospel, the chords, the lyrical
are the
content,
same.
it's the same. So,
Mhm.
for white folk to get mad that somebody black was presenting, it's just like, it's sad. But it's that systemic racism where they don't look, that came from us. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They don't never want to admit that, but there's only 8 notes to a scale. You know what I'm saying? Music is going to be repeated and borrowed from and repetitious from different generations to generations, different genres. And I'm like, no one owns the 8 notes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, there are legal laws and legalese for different breakdowns of the industry as far as performance rights and all of that good stuff. But no one owns 8 notes. If it's not done the same exact way and you didn't literally do it note for note and it didn't come out, at a certain time or whatever, other than that, no one owns the 8 notes. So country western, um, pop, hip hop, jazz, gospel, 8 notes to a scale. They're just rearranged in different ways.
Well, there you
But
had it, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
seeing. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I'm seeing a lot of us starting to do country western, and I'm glad. Country western doesn't always have to be. Like, I lost my partner and everything is wrong. I mean, it doesn't have to be that twangy thing that we think of when we think of country western is really nice. I mean, certain
Mhm.
parts of it that I like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother, grandmother was a big country western fan. Brought me up on Charlie Pride. Folks need to do
Mhm.
their history on Charlie Pride. Ray
Mhm.
Charles.
Mhm.
Well, Ray Charles was a
Mhm.
country artist. People don't even understand that as well. So it's
Right.
our history is in this music, and like you said, and it's in there in those 8 notes.
And we are not a monolith. We are very multi. We come in all varieties and like variety of things. So
Mhm.
I wanted to throw that in there too.
All right. We're going to take another short break and come back and chill some more with Karen Bernod. Bernard, I just love saying that last name. It sound
You just
French,
say
like you.
Bernard, 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 Bernard.
But
That's all.
not. It just sounds French. Woo. Anyway,
Well, you know, well, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
no. When you hold that thought, when we come back, you can say that. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back. So long, so with Phinesse. You know how we do. All right. Now this is segment 3, and then you can pick off where you left off and state. You can say what you wanted to say, and we'll just go from there.
Oh,
Solon's
you're looking at
segment 3 coming on in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back, Solon So with Phinesse, Karen Bernod, and Phinesse. We're here chilling. And before we went to break, I had stated something, and Karen, you wanted to comment. Please feel free to share.
Oh, what was I saying?
I was talking about your French last name.
Oh yeah, French. Okay, so let me give you the skinny on that. Okay, so my name is Karen Bernard. On my birth certificate, it's Bernard. When I decided this is what I was going to do and I was going to be my own person and have my own company and do music and stuff, I wanted something different. So I changed the spelling from Ernard to Bernod, like if you could picture somebody nodding out from sleeping or something, like Karen Bernard. So, and I put a little accent over the O. So what that did for me is when I went on the road with Erica and D'Angelo and Chaka and everybody, and they saw my name, or I went out there on my own, they would be like in different countries, they would pronounce it, like you said, French. The French people would say, Karen Bernod. And if I went to Brazil, they would say, Karen Bernard. And then I go other places, they say, Karen Bernodi. You know, I mean, just pronounced it all different kinds. And then I have, one country says Karen, what did they say? Karen Bern. Well, anyway, I can't remember, but they pronounced it in different ways because they see how it's spelled. But the skinny on that is I did it for conversational purposes, which works. I did it because it looks nice on paper like that. I did it because it sounds nice, and there's no other person out there. You know, you got a couple of Karens in the industry, and I thought it would be nice and authentic. So that's how that came about. Actually, Bernard is my middle name, and I was named after my mother's brother, whose name is Bernard. I was born on his birthday, so that's how I got that middle name.
Say, folks, I told you, everybody's talking about Phinesse. Is that a made up name? No, actually, that is a middle name. Even my executive producer, my partner, he sometimes questioned it, but no, that's actually a middle name my mother gave me. And so a lot of us that are artistic, we go by our middle names because our parents
Yeah.
messed up our first name.
Well, how do you
So
think I feel with everybody referring to the ones that hate the little blonde, blue-eyed Karens out there? When I
oh
introduce myself, I'm like, "Hi, my name is Karen." They like, I'm like, I always say Karen, the good Karen, not the ones whose butts we want to beat, but the good Karen. So I always preface with that.
let me ask you, as a Black woman in music, you can song, you can write, you can produce, you own your own company. How important was it for you to be able to be an example to other Black women to show them that you can do this without compromising yourself?
100%. And I really liked it when I started the gig with Erica because, when Erica came out, I started right in the beginning when she first started out. I mean, and she was, she wasn't out to show her breasts, her butt. She wasn't wearing skimpy outfits to show that I have to do this, and she was really, authentic and bohemian and Afrocentric, and she was a couple of different little things, but that grew into who she is today. But I was just saying that to say that that was a nice gig to have where we can represent who we are as women and as a people, and we don't have to wear. I mean, don't get me wrong, bodycon dresses and showing the body and the legs and all of that. I'm all for it. If you got it, flaunt it. But I just don't like that the industry is has a double standard with women as it does with men, as it does not with men, where women have to wear certain things to show their body parts and certain things have to be accentuated. Otherwise, you're not in the mainstream. So that was something to appreciate. And, like I said, we're not a monolith people. We have many varieties to us. We're beautiful people who come from kings and queens in Africa. And some of us want to hear that, some of us don't. But the truth is the truth, and the truth is the light. And once we can accept ourselves for being authentically who we are, you know, life will be a little better mentally because we go through a lot of stuff
For the
spiritually here.
for the women, whether it be young or old, who want to get into this music business or entertainment business, what words of advice would you give them?
Be themselves, believe in themselves, do what they want to do. If they feel passionate about it, pursue it. Um, Unfortunately, you may have people in your life who don't agree with you, but don't let nobody kill your dream. Dreams do come true. If you work hard and hone your skill, know your craft inside and out, don't box yourself into just doing one type of thing or listening to one type of music or writing one type of music. Branch out, do your history. We have Google now, which makes it easier. I grew up with encyclopedias, so I mean, Google now will allow you to type something in and, you get something. Information is free. Know your history of what you're doing. Know people in the industry who do what you like to do. Make sure you hang around people who are positive and not trying to pull you down and naysayers or, people who's going to tell you, oh, that's not going to work. You need to give up, get a real job, get some benefits. Don't pursue your dream. It's not realistic. Don't listen to none of that. Just be yourself, follow your dream. And I think that that's 100% the way to go. Be yourself, follow your dream, and don't let others tear you down.
What's the key to being a good songwriter?
That's a good question because, I mean, um, I, from my experience, because I mean, I could say, like a Stevie Wonder or someone like that of that ilk, it's like, oh my God. But I think the bottom line to being a good songwriter is being a good storyteller and being able to convey that in words on paper so that others can, so that it can resonate with others. Be a good storyteller and write about things that are real and you know well when I say real, I'm like it could be fiction or nonfiction, but I'm just saying whatever story you tell, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and within that you should be able to tell a story and have it build so that others can feel what you feel. It's
Mhm,
almost like writing a book, you know.
mhm. And speaking of songwriting, you have a song that's out now, Comfort Zone, that's doing amazing up the charts on urban influencers and on soul tracks. Talk a little bit about the song, what it's about, and what inspired you to write that track.
um Actually, what inspired me was just I mean, I was home one day, I was chilling, the incense was burning, I was sipping on a glass of wine, um, and I just wanted to write something that will make you feel comfortable if you're with your mate, if you're with someone that you love, and you just want to chill out and uh, whatever you're doing with each other, just make sure it's in a place of your comfort zone. And you could take it, it's subjective. You could take it sexually. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexually, but it sounds like it is from, you know, what I'm saying and what my lyrical content is, but it's subjective. So it could be about sex, it could be about sitting down playing chess, it could be about cooking a good meal, it could be about, you know, it varies.
Okay. Well, you know what, Miss Karen Bernod, we're gonna play that
Yes, sir.
song right now. We're gonna play the Comfort
Go
Zone.
ahead.
So the Soul on Soul with Finesse listening audience can hear it. If they haven't heard it, you're gonna hear it for the first time here. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and introduce that? And once we play it, we'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to hear the remix version of Comfort Zone from Karen Bernard 2022. Enjoy.
All right. Soul on Soul with Finesse. We'll be right back. All right, we got our fourth segment. This is it. You're almost done. Thank you so much. And Karen, I am a fan of yours. There is a record that I really like. We're going to play it during the show called, I think it's Chillax.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my
You know
favorite
what? I
song
wanted
by
to
you.
tell you. Thank you. I wanted to tell you that when I was explaining Comfort Zone, I was actually talking about chillax. And I wanted to tell you that I didn't mean to say what I said because Comfort Zone is really about being with your boo and, you know. But when I was talking, I was like, oh, wait, I mixed it up with chillax. So it's funny that you said your favorite song is chillax. But if
Mhm.
when you edit, just you could kind of lean it towards more of the sexual because I did say it could be about sex or it doesn't have to be about that. But that's really what it's about: being comfortable with your boo and taking it to the comfort zone where you can be comfort in your zone.
Well, I
I should
think,
have said that.
but I think it still applies because the comfort zone is that when it's a chill song, you just want to, whoever it is you want to chill with. You could be by yourself, you could be with somebody. That it's a good song. Because at first I said, did she do a remake of Vanessa Williams' Comfort Zone? So I had to listen, and I was like, okay, this is different,
Yeah.
but it's cool. I said, okay, got it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Good. Good. As
so
long as you agree. Okay. No problem.
no, well, I agree full heartedly.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Thanks.
All right. So we're going to do a final segment and I'll ask you about one or two questions and that will be it and we'll be done. All right.
Okie dokie.
All right. Here we go. Fourth and final segment. Soul on Soul with Finesse and Miss Karen Bernod coming out in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back. This is Soul on Soul with Finesse. You know how we do. We're keeping you so connected and we make sure you follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We do have the TikTok, but we haven't been on it as much because, well, we aim for an adult listening experience. And TikTok really doesn't satisfy, but we may get on TikTok again. But we do have a TikTok account. And remember, if you miss any of this show, make sure you check us out on our streaming platform available on podbean.com. You can catch all our latest episodes, especially this one with Karen will be up there on Monday. So make sure you check it out. And if you don't catch us there, you can listen to any streaming platform from Spotify, Apple Music. We're all over the place. And I want to thank you guys for listening and making Soul on Soul with Finesse one of your favorite places to be for independent soul music. Now, Miss Karen, before I let you go, I gotta ask you this: um, how important is it for you to be for your words and your activist things to matter and be brought to the public's attention? How much is that important for you to let people know what it is you do and also why your words are important in your music?
Well, it's very important to me. I I I don't necessarily my manager calls me an activist, but I just say that I'm a conscious civilian, and I like to be active, quote unquote, with things that matter. But Lyrical content for me is important because I can remember times when I needed to hear some lyric at a time I might have been feeling a certain way. And different songs have pulled me out of things or inspired me to do things or made me think about different things or educated me on so many different things. I mean, it can do so many different things for so many different people. And excuse me, I don't have a diary or a journal, but I do journal through my music. You know, I have this paranoid thing about when I die, somebody's going to read my diary, and I get into explicit, you know, detail. I'm a very detailed and graphic woman, so I would pretty much be writing down everything in my diary, and then when I die, not that I'm going to know because I'll be gone, but I'm just like, got this thing about I don't want to write it in a diary and somebody, you know, finds it and reads on page 17. Oh, what in Japan she did what, you know. So so I journal. I journal through my music, and you know, I put just the amount of what needs to be there to tell you about my experience, and then I give you some nice chords and some nice backgrounds and some scatting here and there, and you know, and within all of that, you know, I like to educate and uplift and make you feel good, make you laugh. I can be really silly, you know, and you know, I think that's what music is about. I don't. I personally, I always ask people this. Personally, could you imagine the world without music? Could you
Mm,
imagine living with no music at all in your life at all? Never has been. Could you imagine that? No, right?
no, I could not.
Me
Could
either.
not.
I
I
don't
couldn't
even
do
think
it.
I could survive. Me either. I don't even think I survive. When I think about, I'm writing a song now. It's it's in the music is Afrobeat ish, but the lyrical content is really about, you know, because a lot of kids are like, Miss Karen, Miss Bernard, you know, I want you to hear my music. I got beats, yo. I got beats. I got beats. I want you to hear my beats. I got mixtapes. I got this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me hear it. And then I asked them. I'm like, so let me ask you, you know, you do beats. Do you know where the original beat maker comes from or what the original beat maker is? And some do, most don't. And then, because I like to, you know, let them know music. If this is your thing, then know your craft. So I'm getting to the fact that the drum was the first thing that we communicated with in Africa, and
Yes, it
um,
was.
that's the original beat maker. So that's I mean, then you take it from the drum and you go down the line to other things, but that's the original beat maker. And I'm like, do you play drums? No, no, you know, I do this and that. I'm like, well, you should try it and see if you it might pique your interest to learn how to play a drum or a conga or timbali or not necessarily a drum set with the snare and the bass drum, but maybe a single drum. You know what I'm saying? And then might follow through with something else. But my main thing is to uh, just to let people know, kids mainly, the young people know that it's just not all about making beats and beat tapes and auto tunes. It really isn't. You really need to know where music started, how it started, you know, and since you're a beat maker, learn what the beat maker is originally, where it came from, how it began, and just know some history about what you're doing. So I like to try to do that through my music as well.
All right. And one last question. What's next for Karen Bernod?
Well, funny you should ask that question. Well, what we're doing now is like so until October 21st, we are releasing remixes of my original songs on different albums that I have or CDs. We don't even do those anymore. Which you can upload and download from the computer. But I do have different albums. So these are remixes by a guy, a brother. His name is Six Sense, and he's a musician and he's got his own thing going on too. I think he is a hip hop artist and he writes and really makes some really nice tracks. So we collaborated, and he remixed a few of my original songs. So every month, well, we did June 24th already. So now we have left July 22nd. I'm going to release another remix called Truth Is with 6 Cents. And you will hear the original and the remix. August 26th, I'm releasing Here I Am with 6 Cents as well. You'll hear the original and the remix. And then the last one on September 23rd, it'll be a remix with a brother named Eli Tubo. So he did that remix, and you'll hear the original with the remix. And then lastly, the 21st of October, I'm going to release the entire Life Remixed project with all of the songs on it. And you'll have some bonus tracks from only London, UK versions of different, So we're doing a little thing with, like I said, with the every month releasing one, and then by October 21st, releasing the whole project.
I like
So
that
that's one thing
concept.
I'm doing.
I like that
thanks.
concept. That's very different. I like that.
Yeah, well, you got to try to do something, with things are different now, and I'm older. I'm not, a Gen Z or a millennial, so, we got to try to stay in there the most comfortable way for me, so to try to create things around that and still be in the mix.
We are just music people. We're not labels. We're music people. That's what you and I are.
Yes, we are.
Miss Karen Bernod, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. And since you've been on the show, this is home for you. So anytime you got something you want to share, just hit up Phinesse. We'll get you on here and let you talk about it. All right?
Totally. I totally will. And I appreciate you as well for having me. And I'm glad that you're a fan of my music. And I hope to continue to fill you up with my good vibes, good soul, and good music.
All right. Thank you, and peace and love to you too. And on that note, you know how Phinesse do. We out of here. So until we meet again on the same soul channel at another soul time, keeping you soul connected always. Soul on Soul with Phinesse. Peace. This is Chillax by Karen Bernod. See you next time. Peace.
Thank you.